in this week's episode.
We are stood in one of the two original, very short-lived City and South London Railway tunnels. They never plastered it, they never painted it. Normally you can't get to this side because it's a ventilation chamber for the North Line.
It's a really beautiful detailed model that we've done with Bachman.
I would call this one Rapunzel.
There's never been to this bit of the station.
I think we should go for a little wander at least.
Hello everybody, you can't please them all the time, can you? Normally when we do those episodes where we're on site all the time, people go, we miss the look of your lounge. So today we're back in our lounges for a very special Hidden London Hangout, and there's snow on the ground, the Christmas tree is up, we're feeling very, very festive indeed, and I've flipped my view. So this is what I normally see when I'm recording, just to get the Christmas tree in. A bit of a reverse there. We love it. Now then, I don't do this on my own. I've got three amazing folk from the London Transport Museum to guide us through what we're talking about today, and it's a cracker. So Christopher Nix, first of all. So you actually rolled your eyes when I did that.
Only a little, but you're right, it's snowing. I've had to break out my museum snow poster mug. It's that frosty around here. And also, you'd be glad to hear, you know how you said you were hoping we could get some plugs on the show? No. I've just treated myself to a TV appropriate one.
Oh, Grenard. There's a nice ex-rental telly for you right there. Sidney Holloway, are you deep and crisp and even at the moment?
Oh, right, okay.
What
Don't
do
know
you
what
think I
that
said?
means, but I am feeling quite festive, although it may not look like it because I don't have any decorations, unlike you guys. But I did think about moving this setup to the lounge where we do have a Christmas tree, but then I just couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
No, it would have just been a lot of faff and setup and all that. So just imagine all of the Christmas glee around me. Thank you.
Yeah, let's imagine that. CBA is what I'm thinking. Laura Hilton-Brown, you were literally snowed in last night, weren't you? In a car.
Do you know what we were? And I think my kids saw the other side of the loveliness of snow. We took them to see some Christmas lights, and it turned out a little disastrously because we were snowed into a car park. But we got home in the early hours of the morning. And you know me, I love Christmas. And what I particularly love about today is we don't have our Christmas jumpers on, but we all look festive in our red, white and blue little jumpers there.
It's lovely. I've actually got my Christmas jumper, and next week's episode, I'll tell you all about that in a minute. It's so good. It's so good on Christmas Eve. It's good. You're going to love it. Today, we're going to go somewhere where we could only go when basically the bank branch of the Northern Line was shut. So when the bank station upgrade was going on, we sent Nixie with his Tyvek suits and his dicky bow down into the dirty tunnels and vent shafts to find some secrets for you. It's cracking. And also we're going to talk to Laura Mullins, Queen of Shops at the London Transport Museum, about the stuff that's selling really well this Christmas, and also a sale that's happening straight after Christmas, which is very, very exciting too. Now, Nixie, this is kind of over to you really, because you did all the dirty work for us, so we didn't have to go down them dirty tunnels.
Yeah, if only the bit about me having a Tyvek suit was true. This was a bit of an opportunity grabbed. You may remember that previously we've talked about the bank capacity upgrade that went on, and we visited earlier this year, in fact.
Yeah, that's the former southbound. So you remember when you got to that platform before, you know, you could sort of, it was pretty much all you could tell that there was something going on behind the scenes, because suddenly that door appeared sort of middle of last year, or whether it was early.
A while ago, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And now, of course, it's a concourse, and all retiled, no track there, and an entirely new platform and track being built way behind.
It looks like the smallest platform in the world, doesn't it, Nixie?
It does a little bit, yeah. I don't know if the train staff ever managed to sneakily use that one. But
you know what's so weird though? Can I just say that it's, you know, it's been open for a few months now. Isn't it incredible how quickly you forget what things looked like before?
Yeah.
When you start using them. Because now I'm right. Like, oh gosh, how did it really look like that?
Yeah.
It was only back in May, wasn't it, that it reopened. But whilst that was happening, of course, they had to stop running trains through that section. So meanwhile, down at London Bridge,
Oh, look at the what's that, ballast train, is it?
Yeah, we had a works train in there with ballast wagons. So battery loco.
Ballast is the stones, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah,
it's on the tracks.
And this was actually when I was there with Siddy and Tim, and we were filming for Secrets of the London Underground Series 2. And there was a bit where I wasn't needed for a little while. So it occurred to me that there was another bit of the station at London Bridge that we couldn't do in either of the 2 episodes that we did the year before on London Bridge. And do you remember we were in this tunnel?
Yeah, I remember it vividly. We had, do you remember we had Franny, the CSA at London Bridge filming for us? It was great. It was luxury.
We absolutely did, and it was a great exploration down that tunnel, but we didn't do all of it. In particular, there was a door that we had just walked past that has a giant fan chamber inside it, but that is more of the original City in South London original tunnels in there. We also didn't go all the way down to the borough end because, frankly, it was quite grim and disgusting and dusty. But the day we were there to do the filming, I decided to push on down and see what we could see. So do you want to have a look at that?
Yeah, and before you do that, I was just thinking, Laura, that day we were all feeling quite intrepid, weren't we? We felt quite ballsy walking around London Bridge.
I think it was one of those site visits, wasn't it, where we didn't know what to expect and we just kept uncovering more stuff. So I'm really intrigued to see what's behind the door.
Open what's through the keyhole?
That's the one.
We'll do our Lloyd Grossman moment in a moment. But we're going to first just push back down towards the borough end of things. So we got to about here. Do you remember there was that sort of metal stanchion in the middle of the tunnel, and beyond here it just got progressively dustier, and I went to
position ourselves, Chris. I'm sorry to interrupt. Just to position ourselves. This is the old running tunnel of the City and South London Railway, isn't it? So the original bank branch, if you like. This is what the trains used to run through. Absolutely right.
Yeah. So much smaller than the current underground tunnels. Yeah. When I got down to the next cross passage, I found something which we didn't spot on our original tour. And this is a wartime poster, which is saying smoking, presumably strictly prohibited. Yeah, there's not much of it left. You can just see a bit of the crown there, and some of the message.
This topic of smoking in the underground is quite interesting. Well, in the shelters is quite interesting because it seems that in certain parts people could absolutely freely smoke, and in others they were sort of strictly prohibited. And it's quite interesting to try and work out which was which.
Well, I mean, thinking about it, until 1987, smoking was allowed on the tube anyway. I mean, I find that really staggering now. Do you know? I mean, how life has changed.
King's Cross Fire dealt with that, didn't it? But the thing about this tunnel is these tunnels were disused within 10 years of being built. So by 1900, these were disused and all of this area was bypassed. And that meant that it was enormous space that could be converted for use as a deep shelter in the Second World War. The tunnel itself had been sealed off underneath the River Thames just by putting concrete into it during the Munich crisis in 1938. And so Southwark Borough were very keen to have this as a civilian shelter. So this tunnel and the parallel one to it were both used as civilian shelters. And I guess to answer your question about the smoking, there wouldn't have been a great deal of ventilation in here. So that I think is probably why smoking was forbidden here. But as Sidney says, not everywhere.
This is a really good shot, Chris. I really love the light and the textures in it. Just wanted to say that quickly.
Oh, gorgeous girl. And of course the posters. I mean, the colours themselves are vivid, aren't they, Law?
Yeah, I genuinely, I've got a thing, I've got a thing for tiles and posters anyway, but I just love that it really is just that encapsulation of like a moment or a kind of a moment in time. And when the colors are amazing, it honestly blows my mind. But I love this, that it's the fragment of the poster and the kind of real raw authenticity of the tunnel as well in the same shot. This shot is doing it for me, Chris.
Thank you. I think it was one of those moments when I found out I was quite excited because it's, as you say, it's one of those little jewels in an otherwise kind of ruined and grimy tunnel. Really, really pops.
It's a little treat.
Oh, look at this. So this is where the film starts, is it, Nixie?
This is
I
only...
can see a bar. This is good. This is a film. This is just a
very short little trip towards the end of the tunnel at Borough. So let's see how the tunnel now ends. So there you go. As you can see, it ends with this mesh grill and then that concrete plug with a very small hole through it. Not seen another one like that on the system, but as ever, where you've got space like that, it becomes space for permanent way teams who maintain the tube to put bags of ballast and other materials.
I wonder if they ever forget that they've got stuff in different bits, you know, in different nooks and crannies, because I feel like I would forget that was there.
I think so. I think periodically they come along with a ballast train and a ballast wagon train and take it out. But yeah.
I think, Laura, this is the equivalent of the cupboard under the stairs, isn't it? Really, that stuff just gets put.
Yeah, it does. I'm genuinely excited about that Chris just did this by himself and just took himself off down these tunnels. Were you remotely scared at any point?
No, it's fine.
Oh, Chris, come on,
Laura, we were actually quite concerned because he was gone for such a long time. We were like,
has he gone?
I'd say
it was probably about 10 minutes away from kind of going down there myself, but I was also not super keen for it.
No,
because
we just ring somebody. We just ring
hear your
somebody
own footsteps. It's weird, right?
Oh.
The thing is, they were filming back at the other end. I didn't want to walk back in while they were doing a take, so I was like stood just round the corner from them for ages, trying to work out whether they were still filming. I think, to answer your question though, I wasn't scared on this one. I was a bit apprehensive in the other bit, and you might see why in a moment.
Let's press on then. Let's explore. I'm enticed by this now.
So that bit, just to orientate where you were almost at Borough Station by that point. It's just the other side of that concrete bulkhead is where the modern day Northern Line kind of bypasses this tunnel, and that's really not very far outside of Borough Station. Okay,
well, press on.
Time to don the hard hat. Here we go, and break out the big torch for this one. Now, they do say that the best camera you have is the one you have with you. And on this occasion, I had my gimbal and my iPhone and a very high power torch, and that was all. So the quality is not quite there with the normal Hangout shoot, but it's not bad.
Well, here we go, everyone. A rare opportunity whilst the ventilation system is switched off because of the blockade on the Northern Line, the bank extension project. We get to go and have a look down here. So this is one of the two original City and South London tunnels running north from Borough towards King William Street. Normally can't get to this side because it's a ventilation chamber for the Northern Line, the modern Northern Line. However, today it's switched off, so we'll go and see how far we can get before we're stopped by the sealed off end of the tunnel as it disappears under the river. Some lovely calthonite straws. Just watch those. Make sure I don't knock them off as I weave between them. And here we go, there's a brick wall from being repurposed as a shelter. With a doorway. And then this is as far as we can go. So beyond there, the tunnel under the River Thames and on to King William Street. So I've now hopped over into the northbound City in South London tunnel, and you can see there's one heck of a curve as you come around from here. The City in South London weren't afraid of a vicious curve on their railways, and a fair old incline as well as I'm coming up here. Now, there are times when my day job is really rather good, and we're going to just spend a little bit of time weaving between more calthamite straws so I don't knock them off. There's a veritable forest of them hanging down. And oh, look at that huge formation of what looks like bitumen sealant just hanging down. There's an even bigger blob there. Wow, look at that one. That's impressive. And here at the end, we have a similar thing. With the hilarious sign saying no exit. Yeah, not kidding. That tunnel has been bricked up, locked up and sealed. So on the other side of that, the tunnel would lead through to King William Street, but no longer.
You know, watching that, I don't know what you think, girls, but I mean, number one, Nixie, you were one of these kids who used to climb trees, weren't you? This was,
yeah.
yeah, because I would never go down there on my own. I mean, that's perilous, Law. Would you not agree? I mean, no.
I know, it's just my sense of direction. Whenever we have kind of twisty, turny tunnels and passageways, I always rely on Chris for where we're actually going, because I have zero idea. I'd just be worried I'd go behind too many closed doors. A bit like Shepherd's Bush. You were there, weren't you, Chris, Sidney, when we got trapped in the back of Shepherd's Bush on one of our first site recce's. I genuinely had no idea where we were. But it's just that sound of your own footsteps, and that's all you can hear. That would get me. I don't know why.
Just remarkable footage. I mean, Sidney, was there a little bit of you? I know you were filming for the TV show at the time. Was there a little bit of you that just wanted to say, hey, Tim, do you just carry this yourself? I'm going exploring with Nixie.
Of course, yeah. And, you know, Chris is like the ultimate explore partner because he's always so calm and collected, so you don't really feel creeped out or worried or anything. And it amazes me that that's still there. Again, I think you kind of have to like really put it into perspective for people. You know, that tunnel was built at the same time that Jack the Ripper was killing women, like just across the river, you know, like it's such a long time, and it's just there hidden behind the scenes. People don't even realize that it's, you know, helping them feel comfortable in the underground, and that, you know, we get to go and have a look at it. It's
amazing.
So cool.
Absolutely amazing. And also in after Christmas, in our new series of Hidden London Hangouts, there is one episode that we're going to do where we're going to really deep dive into, is it the bowels or the bowels of something?
Bowels.
Is it the bowels? We're going to go deep into the bowels of Euston, to tunnels that hitherto I never dared visit with Nixie, although he teased me with it. We're going to go down there as a thought, and this is scary stuff, actually. So we're going to go and do that next series, but it's going to be fantastic. But Nixie, you've got more to come on this. So you had the big exploration of what effectively was the safety place in those tunnels, the stuff that kept Londoners safe. What happened next?
I did have a bit more of an explore, but quite a lot of the other areas that I went into were really dark, so it was a bit too challenging to do with video too. But got some photos. I thought it was probably worth just picking out a couple of the things that we saw on there as stills as well. So this was one of the bulkheads that blocks up the tunnel heading towards King William Street. And you can just see some of those brick alterations that show it as a shelter. So that shelter was actually brought into service just in time for the Blitz, and it was massive. It basically extended from London Bridge almost down to Borough. So it's a huge place with many, many new entrances built into these tunnels. Each one of the entrances could deal with like 300 people a minute going in or out. So Southwark was actually the only borough during the war that had its own deep shelter that the borough had created and was responsible for. So yeah, they were really well catered for there, and apparently some people, once they moved in, spent every night in there because this was a really good shelter.
I bet they did. So what else what else have we got to go? Oh,
well, I was just loving
actually, I've seen something like that before, but I don't think it's hang down.
So this is one of the cave formations that we sometimes see. They're a bit unusual in the tube because they include some of the materials that are put in to seal the tunnel. In this case, it looks like a flow of bitumen, which must have taken a long time to flow. And there's another one.
My goodness.
They're quite spectacular. They're quite brittle. If you touch them, they'll break. But yeah. The other thing which I really liked is we often see calthemite straws, but there's some really unusual ones here. Because of the airflow, you get a spiral.
I would call this one Rapunzel.
Let down your hair, Sidney Holloway.
It's like it knew it was Christmas and it's done itself like a little sparkly, twirly, twisty thing.
Is it definitely a calthemite straw? It looks like, you'll know this, Chris, it looks like one of the braids of 2 core flex.
Yes, it does.
Have you gone back to plugs?
Well,
they're talking about plugs, Dave.
All right.
I was quite looking forward to doing a Zoom again, but you two are ruining it.
back to reality. Yeah.
So you get air disturbance
plugs,
like that. You do get these like slightly twisty calthemite straws, and I love the fact it's got a layer of dust stuck to it as well. But yes, it was, and look, you can see where one of them's joined up. It's just fabulous place for growing these. There's one that was almost joining. A few more years and that one will connected, and there is a proper,
looks like the Yeti.
That there's a proper stalagmite there.
That's
there we go. That was all the cave formations. The other thing which I found, remember this is a vent shaft, and it vents from the top of the passenger tunnels, and there's if you lost a helium balloon recently in London Bridge, that's where it ended up.
Gosh, can you imagine your kid's got a helium balloon and he drops it and it somehow gets sucked into some tunnel somewhere?
Yeah, love it.
Right now somebody is looking at this going, oh, that's where it went. Lots of crying.
My beautiful balloon. Lovely. Oh, look at the numbers. What's that all about? And a learner driver plate, what's that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the L's for. I suspect, I wonder, what do you think? Shelter section, maybe?
Must
No.
be.
I just saw it and thought, oh, that's curious. I'll take that and see if I can work out what it is. Haven't. And then a view down one of the ventilation ducts. So that's looking down onto platform level through the floor. And they have these louvered dampers, which in the event of a fire being detected would shut and seal off that vent duct to stop the fire spreading.
I went to school with louvered dampers.
So the final bit, I mentioned about the entrances that were built into the deep shelter. Well, one of them has been repurposed now as the ventilation shaft, which has got the big fan in it, which was off when I was there. And to the right here, there is a set of stairs going up. If you ever see, I think there's a press photo of some children going down into the deep shelter at Southwark, and it's very distinctive. It has these concrete segments like you see at Clapham South, so it's very, very distinctive. You can tell that this is one of the later additions and wasn't part of the original City in South London. And when I got up there, straight ahead is the massive ventilation shaft with a fan in it. It was obscured by grills and stuff, so I couldn't actually see it. But to the right is the set of stairs that connects back into the original underground entrance from at London Bridge. Do you remember when we were at the top talking to Chris and that blue painted section at the top? Well, that leads back up to the funny little door that's on the spiral stairs that we saw on the way down.
Amazing.
So there you go. That was my little extra bit of exploration.
Oh my goodness, what an amazing exploration of London Bridge. Loads more to come in the new series of the Hidden London Hangouts, that kind of stuff as well, sort of where we take you down there with our camera and you just see the beautiful stuff that exists under our feet. Now, it's Christmas time. It's become like a traditional diary date now that we meet Laura Mullins, Queen of Shops at the London Transport Museum, to find out what's in the shop, what's coming up, and of course the very, very important Christmas sales. Laura, Merry Christmas, Miss Elf.
Oh, thank you. Merry Christmas to all of the Hidden London team. How are you all doing?
We're all right, actually. We're very good. And I notice in the background, you've got like a sofa bed's been delivered. How lovely.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we're not too festive right now. It arrived, and then I was hoping to build it with a friend yesterday, and I was just stuck on a train getting from Hastings to Brighton due to that freezing weather. So it didn't happen, but hopefully it's the point this week.
It's fabulous. Well, listen, warm our cockles with the delights of your shop.
Okay, yeah, well, this year we've got a Christmas jumper has had a little addition, which I think is really lovely. And that addition is a Santander bike. So can you point that out? I'm not sure.
Oh, now the Santander bike on my lovely, lovely Christmas shop. Is it there?
Yes, it's
Where is it? Oh, yes, it is. Look at
there.
that. There it is. Look, there's my Santander bike.
You go in red. So we haven't had the addition of a bike before, but we're all about active travel, aren't we? So there you go, we've got the bike in this year, and
they are great as well. You know, I mean, this is the thing that always amazes me about your jumpers, because it's become something where a lot of people in London say, I must get the 2022 edition of the London Transport Museum jumper. It's like the annual, it's like a festive bauble from Harrods, isn't it? It's like, I must get the one with this year on it.
But we do need to reuse them as well. Give them away, give your old ones away, make sure we're doing a bit of recycling. But yeah, it's doing really well. The kids one is on sale actually at the moment. We probably overcommitted a bit to that, so 30% off the kids one, which is really lovely. So head to the Covent Garden shop to pick up that and your Christmas jumper. I think this recording is going to be going out just past our last shipping date, unfortunately, for the online shop, because we've got so many strikes. So we've had to move the shipping date earlier, unfortunately. But head to the Covent Garden shop, because that's going to be open until 4 o'clock on Christmas Eve. So,
oh, gorgeous. We've got a bit of Christmas Eve shopping we can do. This is fabulous.
Shopping. Fabulous. It's always open on Christmas Eve. The museum doesn't open on Christmas Eve, but the shop does. And it opens till 4 o'clock. So yeah, if you're in need of last minute Christmas gifts, then head over to the shop, because we've got loads of stuff there. We've actually had a few lines that have just dropped because shipping's not really improved much this year, so we're a bit behind on those, but we've got some really fab new toys. So if you're interested in transport themed toys, we've got really lovely wooden trains, and for the first time we've done overground train, new Piccadilly train, S-Stock train and DLR. So they're just lovely little wooden trains that go on the standard wooden track for all of the wooden train kits.
Fanatics. And of course, maquette still sells incredibly well. I've got my lovely barman here, and
I mean, we could open a maquette shop, really. I mean, it does do really, really well. And this year we've launched new socks, new boxes of socks, which have got new socks in them, some of the old favorites as well. So we've got the ultimate set. So for £90, you can, get 12 sets of socks, pairs of socks, I should say. And we've got some really new, lovely additions in there as well. And then we've got a box for rail and a box for buses. So we've got all, if you can't think of a present, then I think socks are always the answer. And these are particularly good socks.
And you do sell them separately, don't you, as well? So if you don't want to spend a massive amount of money on socks, you could just go and get a pair of socks from the shop as well.
You can, yeah, and they're £10. So, and we've got new designs in the individuals as well. And I know that people are always looking out for those. So again, head to the Covent Garden shop and you can get yourself some last minute stock purchases in. And then, of course, this year is all about S-Stock. So we launched the model earlier on this year. So, and that's done phenomenally well. It's a really beautiful, detailed model that we've done with Bachmann. So we've basically got S-Stock models, S-Stock toys, because it's the first time we've done a wooden toy in S-Stock. And then this year we've also got a kind of, it's a plastic building block type train, S-Stock. It's not, you can build it up yourself. It's compatible with any other small building block type toys. And
I Spy with My Little Eye, something beginning with L. Yeah,
possibly, but it's not through them, but it is licensed TFL.
Yeah,
and it will work with those bricks as well. So
fabulous.
Just got on sale.
Gorgeous. And while we're on the matter, if there is a small branch on your Norway spruce that's missing something, you do Christmas decorations, don't you? Because I've got my TFL. Look at that. I've got my roundel there. Can I show you my ball, by the way? Can I show you my ball? This is the one from last year, which I absolutely adore. And I think I saw that in the shop this year.
Yeah, that's a classic. Or we do a very similar version, but we bring out the one thing that's lovely about those Christmas baubles is they're made by a company called, a fair trade company. So they do, they're very, it's good. We try to work with fair trade companies whenever we can. And a lot of our Christmas baubles are now fair trade. And the other ones we're doing are bamboo. So the plastic one that you just showed on the tree before, the roundel, this year we're doing those in bamboo. So we're trying to move away from plastic where we can. I just noticed online actually, and a few of the designs have already sold out. So get to the shop. And get your bamboo baubles and everything else.
The bamboo baubles.
I bought
saying
my
that
maquette.
after a glass of mulled wine.
I bought my
love
maquette roundel baubles good and early this year, so they're already done.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have things that do really, really well. You never quite know. You have an inkling that something will do really well, and then it hits the shop and it sells out really quickly. And other things don't. But I guess that's the joy of retail, especially Christmas.
It's great. And also, before you go, there's one quick question I've got, because at the end of Christmas, you have your Christmas Day and you've eaten yourself to oblivion. And then there's Boxing Day. And of course, the one thing we want to do in a traditional festive way is go to the sales. So what have we got in the sales?
Well, what have we got? We've got a great offer on our furniture. So we have something very unique that I'm sure a lot of the Hidden London Hangouts audience know about, but maybe not everybody. We have furniture, a range of furniture that we get made in this country by a wonderful, wonderful supplier who we've been working with for years. And they put maquettes onto furniture. So if you want, you can have your own Rootmaster sofa, you can have a barman armchair. It's all made to order. There's lots of maquette options. And on Boxing Day, we're going to be putting that into the sale. So classic. Furniture sale for Boxing Day, so there'll be 20% off that range. So if you want to sign up to the online shops newsletter, then you'll know as soon as it's gone, but it will be launching on Boxing Day.
Absolutely love that. Thank you so much for joining us. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you all.
We love you.
So
we
much.
absolutely love you. Have a great one, and I'll see you in the shop soon. All right, lots of love.
Bye-bye.
So since we're back in the studio, if you like, our own home studios, we may as well do a very short notes, queries and questions. Don't usually get the chance to do that when we're down underground, but today we can. First of all, guys, we've gone past 1 million views for our episodes, which brings so much joy. It's quite a feat, Laura, isn't it?
I think, well, if you think kind of from where we started from, I think it's amazing. And I'm just really glad people still enjoy it. Because if we didn't have the people viewing it and enjoying the episodes, then well, A, it would be sad, and B, we wouldn't have jobs.
Yes, exactly. There is that, to put it bluntly, from our HR partner Laura Hilton Brown there. Fantastic. And there's another good bit of news as well, because Archway has gone, Nixie, seriously, it's gone past 48,000 views.
That's great. Thanks for everybody who's watched it and done that and enjoyed it and liked it. It's been great. Thank you.
And Cindy, I've got to think of something to ask you. Do you like your jumper?
Thanks. It was my sister. She gave it to me. It makes me feel like I'm a kind of like a trainee Jedi.
Fabulous. Now, Nixie, one of our viewers, lovely viewers, one of our Patreons actually, who supports our Patreon scheme, Laura, who's across the pond, she's got a gift for us, hasn't she?
She does. And actually, do you know what? Our viewers have all just enjoyed a gift from her, because it was Laura asking me a question on one of our previous episodes, jogged my memory that I had all of that footage that I shot at London Bridge and quietly forgotten about. But the present that she gave us when she came over to visit the UK recently was a packet of ding-dongs.
Ding dong.
Ding dong.
Yeah, of course, Leslie Phillips has passed, hasn't he, this year? So we should have those in memory of him. But the question is, do you want a ding or a dong?
Always a dong.
I'll go ding.
Okay. Back to the bell ringing episode, aren't we?
I was just thinking to myself, that was actually quite instinctive and fast as a reply, wasn't it, really? Perhaps a little too fast.
Worrying, Alex, worrying.
So thanks for those, Laura. That's really great.
Thank you, Laura.
We'll break those out as a Christmas treat.
Can't wait to chow down on that. Now, very, very quickly, before we go, next week is going to be a cracker. But before I talk about next week's episode, Laura, a little thought just ahead of Christmas, because next week we're going to be out on show, the whole episode recorded underground. So thoughts on this last year, thoughts for the new year, and anything else?
I'm genuinely looking forward to 2023. 2022 has been a good year, better than the previous because of the whole COVID shenanigans. I know it's still out there, but we seem to be coping with it a lot better. And I'm really looking forward to this Christmas, and I'm super looking forward to lots of exploring next year.
Siddy, what about you, darling? I mean, you know, aside from your beautiful jumper, it's been quite an incredible year, isn't it, really?
It has. It's been an incredible year. We've done so much. We've seen so many incredible things. We've gone on lots of fun visits too. I would say it's also been a slightly weird year. Just I would say that I think a lot of us are feeling quite exhausted from this year, because we went from a 0 to 100 after COVID, because everyone wanted to get back to normality so quickly. So I'm really looking forward to getting some time off over Christmas and really decompressing, because I think whilst it's been a fantastic year, it's also been a full-on year, and I think many of the viewers can maybe agree with that. But it's been great. I can't wait to explore more in 2023.
Love you, gorgeous girl. It's a funny, I mean, even this morning, trying to get into everybody's diaries, it's really early in the morning and there's snow outside. I'm still wearing my pajamas that are just out of shot, because I literally jumped out of bed to do this. It's fantastic.
Are they your Routemaster pajamas?
No, I've actually got a different pair on because I had to wash my Routemaster pajamas. I was practically ready to peel them off. But they were gorgeous. Before I do that, Chris, an amazing year really for Hidden London Hangouts.
It is. It's been great. We've been able to get out there properly and bring you some great footage behind the scenes of places. And also we've managed to get our in-person tours restarted in London. And, you know, thousands of people enjoying those site tours for the first time in several years. So that's been really great to be able to do that. The other thing, of course, is looking forward to Series 7. In the new year. We're going to take a bit of a break, obviously, but we've got an absolute cracker to come back with, so can't wait for that.
It is so good. We've already filmed it. We were given access to this particular location one afternoon, and we all went down there, and we've filmed this delicious televisual treat for you, and that will be our first episode coming back. And also, and I'm really excited about this, and this harks back to my career before I did this, we're going to launch a podcast of some of the locations that we do, but there'll be like a soundscape. So there'll be less of us and more of the sounds you hear when you go down there. And it is so evocative and so cool. And that will be launching in the new year as well. So really, really chuffed about that. And so many lovely things to come. Next week's episode is Christmas Eve. And the team always try to give me a little gift back every year. So do you remember we went to Angel last year? Well, if you cast your mind back to Series 1, Episode 1, I told you that Kentish Town is probably my favourite station on the network because of a very, very sentimental reason to me. I probably found love down there, really, and or certainly lust. And so we're going to visit Kentish Town as my Christmas present and go in all the bits where the lifts used to be and everything else. It's so cool. And so we're going to do that. Can't wait to share that with you, and some surprises and a little bit of fun along the way as well. Really, really good. Laura Hilton-Brown, thank you so much indeed, as always, darling.
Thank you. I'm literally jigging because I'm so cold. I'm trying to kind of like keep the blood circulating. And Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. See you on Christmas Eve.
It's incredible. Floating over this conversation at the moment is the look of my garden. And it is literally probably 4 inches deep with snow. And I live in London. We never normally get snow in London. It's absolutely wonderful. Siddles, where you live, are you deep in snow?
Crisp and even.
I thought I've used that line before. I'm not going to do that one again. Is it snowy where you are?
No, 4 inches over here actually, because things do melt pretty quickly. So I would say
disappointing, Sid. Disappointing.
Yeah. So it's limited. And
Isn't it marvelous? Is it marvelous?
Well, because I'm from Iceland, so we are. I'm used to more snow than that. But yeah, it's not too bad over here in West London. But I digress. Thank you so much, guys.
There we go. It's so nice, isn't it, when the girls have completely adopted my sense of humour as well. This is wonderful. My work here is done. Chris Nix, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed this morning watching our 4 Norwegian forest cats teaching our new kitten what snow is about out on the lawn through the window in front of me. It's been very sweet.
Does he love it?
He does. He's slightly obsessed with it in the few hours that he's known it.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so we're donning our Christmas jumpers next week for Kentish Town. Thank you very much indeed for watching on YouTube. Like, subscribe and comment down below. If you'd like to find us on Instagram, where we tend to dump our pictures of wherever we're going, that's Alex Grunden, Chris Nix, City Holloway, Hidden London Law, and at LT Museum. And as I say, an amazing episode for Christmas Eve next week. Have yourself a great day and stay safe.